Right. Good evening. My name's David, and we are starting off a game of Hearts of Wulin. I'm not going to go into a big. I'm not going to. Well, I tell a lie. I was going to say I'm not going to go into a big blurb on the game itself right now, but I am in a moment. But it's going to be a very big blurb as I go over the cats for this game. I'm doing this slightly differently to my usual technique. So if people see this, that's sort of what we'll be coming up into a second. But yeah, this game we're running this evening, it's been organised through the Gauntlet, which is an online role-playing club. I think Laura's taken saying recently, and I quite like that. We're basically just a group of people that get together and organise games to play online. So I have a great group of players with me this evening. We're going to, sadly for the first bit, you'll just be hearing a lot of my voice, but they'll be able to take over soon. So yeah, I'm going to go through the cats for this game. CAT stands for concept, aim, tone, subject matter. And it's basically just for us to have a little bit of a discussion about what the game is, what we are going to expect from it, what stuff is likely to come up. This will then kind of feed into a discussion on our safety tools and lines and veils. For anyone who is watching this video after the fact, that bit we won't be as part of this recording because to enable people to have kind of a frank and open discussion on lines and veils, I think it's better for that stuff to not be recorded, and we keep our own record of that, off camera. Other people do it. I prefer not to. So with that said and done, we'll go into the cats. So Hearts of Wulin is a powered by the Apocalypse game. It's based off of the mechanics originally introduced in Apocalypse World and developed over many, many very, very good games since. It's written by Lowell Francis and many other individuals working on it, delivering various parts. The kind of the thumbnail description of it is it's a game of wuxia melodrama. So we're looking at kind of Chinese-inspired martial arts, but with a very but focusing on not just powering up your chi and punching people through walls, that will very much be a part, but also the interpersonal relationships that make up the stories, particularly that's in longer running Chinese drama series, as well as kind of martial arts films. So yeah, that's that part of the concept. So yeah, we're on to the concept discussion, as I said. So in particular for this game, I'm doing a couple of bits slightly, not slightly differently, but I'm adding some stuff in as part of the current release of the playtest package. There are some supplemental rule sets and different settings and stuff. I'm kind of grafting a couple of these together, namely the supernatural and the courtly rule sets. Why I am doing this is basically because I've been watching some of the Untamed or Dao Zu Shi recently, which is a series of kind of higher powered, more supernatural wuxia or Shan, I believe is the term, though I could be using that incorrectly. I offer no disclaimers on that, but so yeah, the idea is, as well as the kind of normal martial arts type fare we might see from films like, say, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or Hero, or something like that, that are perhaps heroic, mythical, but fairly naturalistic, I suppose. It's probably not quite the right word. Fairly down to earth, aside from a bit of jumping about and flying. Conversely, the Untamed, if you have seen any of that, if not, I would recommend it. It's quite good fun. It focuses a lot more on people being able to sort of cultivate their internal kung fu to basically do magic, and dealing with things like the restless dead and evil spirits and all this sort of thing. So it has that bit more of a a supernatural edge to it, like I said, than the sort of the normal fare, I suppose. The other big part of the Untamed is it is looking at the interactions between these important clans of what they refer to as cultivators. So basically what you think of sort of martial arts heroes, people who are able to cultivate their chi to do these powerful acts. And so for that is where we're kind of bringing in this courtly aspect to it as well. As the sort of martial arts world, the Wulin in this instance sort of has its own system of government is probably not quite the right word, but definitely a sort of hierarchy and interactions between the clans and things like that. So I want to sort of try tossing both of these ideas together and seeing what comes out of it. The aim of the other thing I will just say, on top of that, is obviously because we're going to be kind of adding in these couple of different elements to it, there are going to be a few more rules and stuff kicking about than would be the case for kind of straight up as Wulin game. I'm going to start trying to see how much of that we use. If there are bits that we're just not interacting with, that's fine. We can just let them fall by the wayside. That's not a big problem. The point of this game, as we'll get into in a second, once I get into the aim, is obviously for you to find what you want to get out of this game as well. If there are bits of if we're finding like the courtly intrigue just isn't something that's interesting, we can ditch that. If we're just not really touching on the supernatural things all that much, we don't need to use the rules for them. That's fine. We'll find I'm sure we'll find a sort of happy medium as we go through. So going on to the aim of the game. So basically our aim here is for us to tell a story about the characters that you create. This is for like I said, for all the action and that goes on, this is primarily a game about characters, and specifically about the player characters and their interactions. It's important to sort of embrace where our stories go, and sort of just play into your characters and find stuff out about them as we play. You will also have some, we'll get into that in a second, but you'll have some there's some player agendas on the character sheets as well that kind of give you some guidance on that. In fact, I will quickly go through that now because I think there's always a useful thing to get in this like initial thing. So the player agendas are to embrace sincerity, and this means to sort of take things seriously to an extent. There's always the space for some lighthearted moments in these both in these games and in these stories. But to kind of the people by and large take things seriously, take people at face value. That's sort of what embrace sincerity means. Speak obliquely about the heart. This is one of the core features of the game. Is that the idea is that in a lot of the source material there is a lot of pining and yearning, but being stoic and not speaking your heart's desire and all this sort of thing. It's in part just for that melodramatic thing that obviously if people actually sat down and had sensible conversations with each other about things, then there'd be no drama. So what's the fun in that? Play with everyone's entanglements. We'll get onto those in a second. That has a mechanical meaning, but broadly speaking, what that is we as we build our characters, each of them will have various bonds with other player characters and other NPCs that are referred to as entanglements, and those will set up again. They'll set up those relationships and tensions and drama between them. So always play with an eye to what other people's entanglements are and how you can bring those up to the fore. Fourth one is to act in the service of something greater. The other sort of pole to sort of the personal drama of the characters is the fact that they will also often have duties and obligations to a higher power, whether that be their family, a ruler, an official figure, something like that. And the So, and that's obviously often something that will, put you at odds with your feelings, and leads back into that with the thing about speaking obliquely about that. Each character will also have a fifth, or I should say, each player will also have a fifth agenda that will be set by your whichever playbook you choose. There's a specific one for that, and that is designed to basically hone you in on the sort of core theme of that playbook. So that's our aim for this game. The other thing I should say as well, aside from the characters, the other thing we also are interested in looking at is also the wider world and how your characters interact with that, and in this case as well, particularly on like interactions between the clans and within the clans and that sort of thing. Some of that kind of good political drama going on as well. So tone, I've kind of touched on most of this already, but it's obviously wuxia melodrama. So we're looking at a similar tonal palette to that. If you have some familiarity with the genre, you know that this can veer quite suddenly, and sometimes, depending on how it's done, almost jarringly between sort of very dramatic and intense moments, and also real light-hearted moments, and sort of those lighter moments. Like I said, we it does not matter if people have varying levels of exposure to the sort of source material, but sort of playing into the tropes is kind of a good thing to do, regardless. As I said, we sort of bits I've mentioned already, adhering to decorum, speaking obliquely, to kind of lead to more dramatic tension. The other thing that I will point out on this stage in the tone is that obviously, while the world we will be playing in is a nominally fantastical one, it is very obviously and very intentionally sort of based on historical China, or at least fictional depictions of historical China. So just obviously the one thing to be mindful of is that we treat that we treat that sort of cultural aspect of it with sensitivity, and avoid cheap stereotyping and stuff like that. I don't foresee that being a problem with this group, but that is an important thing to just call out, I think. In particular in this game, because again we're dealing with the supernatural element, we might be drawing a bit more heavily on sort of folklore, mythology, religion of China and wider East Asia as well. So just sort of be aware of that. But that is our tone. And last but not least, subject matter. So in general, I would say Hearts of Wulin can become quite emotionally intense at times. That's definitely something that is likely to come up. And obviously there is kind of inherent violence to the game, in the sense that you're playing sort of martial artists, and having big martial arts duels is a part of the game. However, for all that said, it's not really a game that's that interested in kind of graphic violence and graphic injury. Even death to a large extent isn't necessarily a big part of it. So yeah, we'll kind of keep things at that slightly more aesthetic and abstract sense, rather than kind of gory and grisly things. Again, because of the supernatural element of that, we might lean a bit heavier into some aspects of kind of horror and creepiness as a result of that. But like I said, in general, we'll avoid getting too graphically violent. Likewise, romance is a big part of the game, or can be a big part of the game. It's certainly an inherent part of the game, I should say. But again, we'll be avoiding any graphic sexual content. It's just not really the forum for it. I don't feel. Romances and whatever, and anything that could probably be described as steamy is probably fine, but not getting into anything actually, that would actually require a X-rated, as it were. But that sort of broadly speaking, the stuff that's likely to come up, I think there will be some interpersonal conflicts, quite coming is quite common to come up, and sort of particularly involving like families, factions, that sort of thing. And as I've mentioned already, obviously we will be just be mindful of kind of how sensitively we deal with Chinese culture and the like. So in terms of safety tools, we will be using lines and veils, and I'll go through those in a second. We will also be using the X card and the script change safety tools. I will give a very brief speak on those in the next set. Mostly they won't be that relevant until we actually get to play proper, so I'll introduce them properly next time. But I will go over them briefly in a second. This game is also run using the Gauntlet community guidelines, which you can refresh yourselves on through the website if you wish. And we'll be playing with the open door policy, as I kind of already alluded to. If at any point you feel like you need to leave the game, and that can be either because like the content of the game or itself is getting a bit intense, and you'd rather take a break from it, or just like practical reasons, the doorbell goes, you get a sudden phone call and have to take it, anything like that, if you need to step away from the game, whether that be for a few moments or for the rest of the evening, feel free to do so at any time. Drop me a message if you want to, if you do need to do that, but don't feel that you have to. We will sort of if you need to leave, you need to leave, and that's fine. Cool. So as I say, yeah, safety tools. So X card is quite simple. Basically, X card is used when something comes up that you are not happy with being in the game. You can make sort of the X symbol with your hands. You can call out, I'd like to X card that. You can put something in the chat. I will say, for me, the easiest one for me to notice is calling out. There will be times when I am not looking at Zoom and I'm in another tab, and I might miss if you do it purely visually. So calling out is always the most likely to get my attention the fastest, but whatever you feel like is good. If something gets X carded, we'll kind of remove that from the game. We'll move forward, and we'll find a way around it. You never need to explain why you are calling in the X card. I might ask you to clarify what in specific it is you're X carding if it's not immediately obvious from the context, but I will not ask you to justify that call. If you make it, we'll respect that. We'll also be using script change. Script change has a bit more nuance to it than the X card. I'm not going to go on the big spiel about that now, because script change is a lot more relevant once we're actually in play proper. There is a chance that like someone might want to X card something in character creation. Script change tools aren't really likely to come up as part of that, because that is much more about focusing on live play itself. So I'll go over that next time. So we are now going to go into our discussion on lines and veils. So I'm going to pause the record. So yeah, we have our lines and veils set out now. And the next thing, actually, I'm going to ask you all what you are interested in doing first. So part of, as I sort of mentioned earlier, part of what we'll be doing today is setting up the court and the world, the Wulin world that you're kind of part of. And we're also going to be setting up your characters, obviously. And I guess as far as I'm concerned, we can do that in whichever direction you'd rather. We can either sort of go the traditional route, start with your characters, and then build out the court around them. Or if it would be helpful to you, we can start off by building the court, and then you can create characters to feed into that. Does anyone have a preference as to which we do?
Does the court affect the factions that we will be choosing from?
Yes, the court will kind of set up some of the faction stuff in a slightly more detailed sense. So that's why I thought it might be helpful to do it first. But also we could start with the characters too, and then just build around them. Cool.
I don't have a strong preference.
Yeah, no worries. I think then, if people don't have strong preferences one way or the other, I'm actually going to try starting out with the court first this time around, and then building characters after that. So if we go to the our court tab in the Character Keeper, you'll see there are. I'll just do a quick overview of the thing in general, and then we can start filling in some details on that. So our court will have a ruler. This is the person who is in charge. Whether they are like a ruler in the sort of legal sense, or whether they are just the most influential person, is one of the things we can determine as part of this. We will give them a name. We will set up the basically the how they rule, what their personality is like, what their drive is like, and what is the source of the power that they have. We can do this all in fairly sketchy terms as we start out. We can add more detail if we wish, but that's there. We will also then, there are 6 factions that we will be creating. These are all important factions in the court. As given the sort of the premise of this, I've already kind of filled in a little bit of detail on these, in that our court factions will be the various clans that make up the Wulin, and and we'll look then at like what typifies them. You'll see there's kind of a words like I don't want to say like an alignment chart, but like an alignment chart style thing with them, where you have the going from left to right. You have 2 clans that are in favor in court at the moment. They're sort of are in a dominant position in court. You have 2 factions that are kind of in a neutral position as we start out, and 2 clans that are out of favor, who have somehow earned the enmity of the leader of our court, the leader of the Wulin world, as it would be in our case. And then going down the top line of factions are seen as generally upright, so they are more or less righteous, law-abiding, traditional, those sort of words. We shouldn't conflate this too much with good and evil. There's an element of that in there, but it's very much not the dominant thing. It's much more about fitting in with society rather than moral things necessarily. And then the bottom row of that are the questionable ones, the ones who have a bit more of a reputation for going outside the proper path and doing things that they should maybe not be doing. The final element that we'll be setting up for our court are the threats that it faces. We'll be picking 3 of these, and these will basically set out our initial starting situation and what what threats face the court, what the court might be wanting to achieve, and so on and so forth. Obviously, once we've set all this stuff up, it won't remain set in stone. It will potentially change over time, given your actions and your interactions with the clans. But this is kind of to give us a place to start from, to give us that kind of nicely fleshed out world to be a part of. So yeah, I am going to. Oh yeah, actually, as well, if people just want to claim, if you haven't done so already, if you want to claim a column, that's the word I'm looking for, in the character keeper, we'll come back to that in a second, but mostly I will use it to victimize people in order. So feel free to just stick your name into one of those, and I will hide the redundant one when you're all done. But yeah, so yeah, what I'm going to start doing, we'll start, I think, with our ruler, and determine what they are like and how they hold power. Then we'll start learning some more about the clans and their agendas. I am going to. So you'll see there as well. There are some drop downs for each of these elements, which you can expand. I didn't actually. I completely forgot to. I was thinking of putting these in like a more legible sheet, but I didn't. I'm afraid. So, but yeah, you'll see there's various options there that we can choose from, or if you wish, you can. We can obviously. You can always write in something else if you would like. It's always good if you have some ideas. But I think I'm just going to do this quite simply by going around and asking people to select one of these elements. And if you don't if you want to like ask the other players, hey, would it be cool if we do this, or invite other people to feedback, that's cool. But like I said, I will ask in turn, just because it leads to a lot less dead air, basically. So with that said, Puckett, if we'll start with you, would you like to I'll say we won't go for a name necessarily for our ruler straight away. We'll maybe come back to that in a moment once we have a better idea of who they are. But yeah, would you like to select how our ruler has power in the our ruler, or sorry, I should say what our ruler's position is in that our ruler is dropped down? I said, do feel free to solicit feedback from the others if you would like, or if anyone has strong ideas as well, do feel free to jump in. But yeah, I will start with yourself, Puckett.
I'd kind of like to open it up to the table, just because my thought was, given what I've seen on the lines and veils, it seems like people want to play with the idea of power and authority that may be unjustly taken or held.
Yeah.
So one thought I had along those lines was either the ruler having come to power through selection from a higher force, perhaps demons, or holding an artifact that basically gave them similar abilities as if they were backed by demons. But I want to toss that out and see what people think of it.
Yeah, those both sound good to me, certainly.
Anyone have any thoughts, objections, clarifications, additions?
I like the direction you're going in. It's a hard choice between selected by demons and has possession of an artifact, or an artifact is possessing them.
I mean, if they're kind of backed up by demons, it opens up factional play in the supernatural realm as well, where, for example, maybe there are noble spirits trying to depose them or help people restore the balance of power between, the higher realms than earthly ones.
Yeah, I like it.
I'm seeing a couple nods, a couple of grins. I mean, Maria, to allow us to not only speak feelings out loud, but to speak feelings out loud to both people and spirits. I mean, that's like twice the number of feelings spoken out loud as normal. And I'm honestly not picking on Maria. Maria and I have played a lot together, and I know that this is something that she really enjoys, like feelings. So, any other thoughts or ideas? Brian?
That all sounds good.
Okay.
Sure, let's go with selected by demons. I like the idea of demon factions.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to go with Lord selected by a higher power. And David, I don't know if there's a way to kind of clarify on the character keeper somewhere
there's some like underneath the drop downs. There's just some blank lines that you can type into if you like. So yeah.
Okay. Let's go with supported by demons, not possessed, because I kind of want. I feel like this should be a conscious decision on the part of the ruler, where they have chosen this path instead of just kind of like accidentally stumbling into it.
Yeah, definitely. I think that's the more interesting one in this particular case. Yeah, definitely. Awesome. Cool. And it also gives me an excuse to do a little bit of research on cool Buddhist demons in the intervening time, because there's some really good stuff out there.
Right. I mean, and you know how much I love putting additional work on your shoulders.
Yeah. But no, that should be good fun. Awesome. Thank you very much. So next I'm going to come on to... sorry, no, that did not come out the way I intended it. Next, I'm going to call on Brian. Would you like to select the ruler's demeanor? I can never say that word right.
Demeanor? Okay. I mean, some are clearly out, like innocence, no good. Like cruel or vengeful seems wrong. I think more like paranoid or manipulative. Those sound like more like what we're looking for. Ambitious.
Yeah.
I don't think, definitely not like reclusive, young, aged, exacting. None of those seem.
Can you pick a range of, like, kind of?
So
I mean, because some of these sound like they would work very well together. Like,
yeah, no, I mean,
older
absolutely.
and paranoid and.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if a couple of those kind of, if combining a couple of them kind of gives a more precise thing, then yeah, absolutely go for it.
Yeah, I mean, there were a few that seemed like they could be fine as like extra flavor on it, but he's paranoid and cultured versus paranoid and hedonistic. That's a very different feel, but
yeah.
Yeah, paranoid, obsessed, manipulative, ambitious. Those seem like maybe what we're looking for. One of those for like the main thrust, and then we could pick a second one as the twist on it. I don't know. Do any of those four sound better or worse to anybody?
Ambitious sounds kind of cool. Like
I like
maybe
ambitious.
they're trying to like gain control of both the earthly like factions, but also like the demonic factions. Like full power. Don't want to be supported anymore. I want to take that power for myself.
Nice.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay, sounds good. So ambitious. Do we want to pick like some second? I kind of like the idea of
Do you think that this ruler thinks they control the demons? Like, are they arrogant about it, or and is this a ruler with hubris, or is this a ruler who's
Was it reckless and they just did it because they don't care about anything other than just grabbing power however they can get it and they'll deal with the consequences later? Or
were they weak and they decided that this would be a way to not be weak? I mean, there's a lot of different ways to approach that.
But yeah, we can always fill in more detail on them momentarily as well. I think if we've definitely got that ambition, I think is as I say, that's a kind of key driver for them, I think. And so yeah, obviously if you wish to add anything else in there in between, we can do that. I think Maria's just AFK for a second. Actually, tell you what, we're just coming up to the hour now anyway. So if people want to take 5 minutes now, and come back in, about 5 past, and we'll pick things up then. Welcome back, everyone. So yeah. I'll just check back to Maria, I think, next. Where does their greatest power come from?
Were we thinking a powerful artifact? Or did we change that one we picked, supported by demons, for this lord selected by a higher power?
I think powerful artifact would be cool. Yeah, if we wanted to. I mean, I know that was the other one because that one's kind of replicated in the previous in the first part as well. So that would certainly work. I think. Yeah.
Or maybe like some secret knowledge that like maybe they're in power because they've been like supported by demons and maybe have access to this like powerful artifact, but like having access isn't quite the same as having like the knowledge of how to use it. What do people think?
I kind of like the idea of the secret knowledge because it's much more, it's a little bit more open, and then you can also include the artifact in that. But that's me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. Let's say like secret knowledge, because that leaves it like more open, and we can come up with that secret knowledge later because it's right now a secret to ourselves.
Yep, awesome. Great. So and yeah, I guess now we have the fun part as well. We need a name for our ruler. we don't necessarily have to fill this in now, but be thinking about that. If anyone has an idea, do shout out. But otherwise, we can come back to that in a moment. So yeah, next, I think that we'll go. So, like I said, I've already named the clans at any rate. So that's one less set of names to come up with. So for each of the clans, there will be a leader. There's a drop-down list of some names for that. Again, you can, if you want to make up your own, feel free. Likewise with the agendas. And then there is an agenda as well. That's what that faction, or what the leader of that faction is currently trying to achieve in a broad sense. And the leader of the faction won't necessarily be the leader of the clan itself, but it might be. It will be more obvious with some than with others. But yeah, so I think what we'll do, I should decide. No, I think it's more interesting if we get one person to pick the leader, one person to pick the agenda, and move on and do it that way around, because that way we'll have. I think that will just break things up nicely.
Are we each supposed to portray members of these clans?
Yes, or at least affiliates, if not actual members.
And we could have like multiple people per clan.
That's right. Yeah,
okay.
The choice is then, once we actually get into building your characters, of which clans you associate with, and so on and so forth, is entirely up to you at that point. If we may end up essentially like telling the story of one clan, or we might look at people from various different clans and see how they all interact together, that sort of thing. So yeah, this is mostly just about setting up what these clans kind of look like from the outside as we start off. We'll learn more about them as people as we interact with them, as people play characters from them. So I'm going to continue around the character keeper. So next up is Lara. If you would like to choose a leader for the Wang clan. Again, if there's some suggested names in there, but if you would like to choose one of your own, make one of your own, then also feel free to do that.
I'm liking the vibes of Master Falling Snow.
Awesome. Yeah, there we go. Cool. And so back round to Chris. Would you like to select an agenda for the Wang clan?
Okay, let's see. These are upright and in favor.
Yep,
so,
that's right.
I'm gonna go with aid the people. I think that's what Master Falling Snow wants.
Cool, thank you. So now we're back round to Puckett. If you would like to choose the leader of the Shan clan.
If I could make kind of an odd request.
Oh yeah.
Is there any chance I could choose the agenda of the Wu clan?
Yeah, go ahead. If you want to do that now, that's fine by me.
Why is that?
Well,
one, may I ask?
I think I'd like to play a member of the Wu clan.
Cool.
And I think the Wu clan's goal is to restore the kingdom to earthly control as opposed to unearthly or supernatural control, which is one of the reasons why they're out of favor.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if that's okay.
No, that's cool. Yeah, no, I have no objection to that at all.
And that's a good point about the Wang clan. If they're in favor with this guy who's supported by demons and secret knowledge, maybe they're not the ones aiding the people. I mean, Master Falling Snow sounded so nice, but you know, maybe it's to master an art or something. You guys okay if I change that?
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
gain office?
If you wish, though again, like I said, you know, there's nothing. Well, one of the, sort of the important things is even though the ruler is backed by demons, it doesn't necessarily mean that he or she they are in and of themselves ill-intentioned towards the kingdom as a whole. But also, they may very well be. But yeah,
Okay.
feel free to choose whatever you would like. Don't feel limited by is I suppose mostly what I'm saying is don't feel that.
Okay, I'll go with master in art. That's ambivalent. That's ambiguous.
Yeah, sure thing. Awesome. Maria, would you like to choose the leader for the Shan clan, or again, if there's a specific thing that you want to choose, instead go for that. But if you're happy to do the Shan clan, then
Yeah, I like the sound of Gentleman Dao Yin.
Excellent. Recurring character there. A recurring character name at any rate.
Name.
Awesome. Thank you. Brian, would you like to choose an agenda for the Shan clan?
Okay. Well, we know our ruler's greatest power comes from secret knowledge, so let's go with uncover secrets.
Cool. Awesome. Lara, if you would like to, or actually, if you would, do you want to choose the agenda for the Chan clan? Because I think you did a name last time, so to change things up a little.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. What do people think of reveal criminals?
That's interesting.
Just imagining like the Scooby-Doo, like take the mask off.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. And then Chris, if you would like to choose the leader for the Chan clan.
Real criminals. I like Judge Gu Ying.
Cool. Nice. Then we'll be back around again to Puckett, if you would like to choose the leader of the Liu clan.
Okay. The leader of the Liu clan. This is neutral. What about Consort Silver Starlight? You don't really have a consort. Are people okay with that?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. Done.
Perfect. Maria, if you'd like to choose the agenda for the Liu clan.
I want to pick win a few just so that like definitely maybe brings in some like interclan conflicts potentially.
Nice. Yeah. Nice. Awesome. So then we're back round to Brian. If you would like to choose the leader of the Wu clan.
Let's go with predictionist Azure Condor.
Awesome. For some reason, these seem to keep like flipping back to default after they've been changed. I don't know what's up with that.
Because everybody's clicking on it at once to see all the options, probably.
Yeah, that's yeah, you're probably right. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, Lara, if you would like to choose finally the leader of the 11 Devil Perfection Society.
Oh, yes. I would love to do that. Porcelain Smile.
Excellent. And last but not
Freaky.
least, Chris, if you would like to choose their agenda.
If you're talking, you're muted, just so you know.
Thank you. Maybe to stop a grand project, and that could be just to stop the Wu clan from restoring the kingdom to earthly control, or really anything.
Yeah.
I'll put that down for now.
Yeah, that sounds good. Brilliant. Yeah. So, that's get some nice conflict being set up there. So we are now we've got all of those bits and pieces. Yeah, actually, I'm going to ask: does anyone have an idea for the name for our ruler?
Did our
Well-
ruler ruler come from one of the clans that we set up?
That was the exact same question I was about to ask. So,
There's always the name generators.
but yes, as I said, yeah, if he may, if you wish, they may be a member of. They can be a member of one of the existing clans, whether they still consider themselves a member or not, or they could be, someone who is clanless. Either would work.
What if, I mean, since the Shan clan is in favor and its goal is to uncover secrets, would it make sense for the ruler to have come from the Shan clan? Perhaps secret knowledge they discovered and withheld from the clan and used to gain power?
Yeah, that could work.
I just got to say, Laura, I'm loving the cat ear in the camera. It's like, it's so great.
The ruler's name is 432.
I gotta say, I'm okay with that.
Maybe we find something a little different.
I just looked at a generator, and one generated name was Golden Soul Scholar.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Wow, that's epic.
It seemed to like reminded me of the secret knowledge and such.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that's cool. I'll put that in. And we'll call him, or call them, sorry, I should say. In fact, I'm going to, do we want to, do you want to go with a man, a woman, someone who's non-binary? Does anyone have a preference there? I'm just going to call them Shang as their birth name for the moment, but if no one has a strong opinion, then I can fill in those sort of details in the intervening time anyway, so it's not an issue.
You know, I could see a guy somehow getting into trouble with demons.
And plus, it gives us an excuse to have one of those really cool mustaches.
Fair.
I mean, are we really doing the genre justice if we don't have one of those mustaches?
It's fair. It's a fair call. Brilliant. So the last thing that we have to do for setting up our court, and then we can get into character creation, which will take a little while, but we should have plenty of time to get everything in, I think. We just want to set up a couple of threats that are kind of on the horizon at the moment, that should sort of threaten the court as a whole in some ways, or the Wulin will, as a whole, really. So there's a few different ones down here. I'm just going to ask. In fact, I'm going to go around and ask what everyone's favourite one off of that list is, and we'll see then if we are over or under the number that we're looking for, and work from there. So, Puckett, I'll start with you. Any of those threats particularly calls out to you?
If it's okay, I'd like to defer to Chris. I mean, it hit me that I probably should have deferred to Chris the first time around since he's new to the Gauntlet, so I can at least do that now. Yeah,
no worries, yeah.
Going with what we marked interest in the safety tools, my first go-to is monsters.
Yep, cool. Awesome. We'll tick monsters off.
Oops.
Sorry. That's fine. Cool. And then I'll work. I think I'll work back the other way. So, Lara, any of those call out to you in particular?
I'm torn. I like long lost techniques resurface, but I also like conspiracy for overthrow. Yeah.
Well, we've kind of, I guess we've already sort of got a bit of a conspiracy for overthrow baked in with the Wu clan. So yeah, maybe long lost techniques resurface might be an interesting thing to add on top of that. And Brian, any of these ones that you would like to see in?
For some reason, storms.
Yeah.
Just storms.
Yeah, cool. all is not right in between heaven and earth, etc. Cool. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't. So, I guess, Maria, are you happy with those three that we've got? Is there anything else that you would particularly like to
I
see?
was actually also really thinking storms, so I was super excited.
Nice. And last but not least, Puckett, is there anything else you would like to add on top of here? Any additional threats, or do you think we're set with those three?
So I had two thoughts, and they may all be baked in.
Yep.
Factional fighting and supernatural forces.
Yep, that's cool.
But
Yeah,
I think that's baked in.
I think they're kind of baked in, but yeah, no, we'll mark them both off in there as well, just to so that we. And in fact, I also mark the conspiracy for overthrow, because these are things that we know will be either are kind of inherent, to be honest, or we've already come up with. But yeah, I think that's fair. This gives us a kind of good idea, and a lot of these are quite there's overlap between them anyway. So
I gotta say, I love the storm ideas. Just
yeah.
Really, really violent thrashing storms with heavy winds and lightning and dramatic flowing robes everywhere.
Exactly. Oh, I'm just get Thunderbolt fantasy flashes now as well. Yeah. Anyway, much digression. So yeah, we'll go into character creation now. So what I'll probably do, we've got I'll explain how character creation works, and we can start working through that. We'll take our break again at the top of the hour, and then when we come back, we'll do entanglements. Regardless, if people haven't quite finished some of the mechanical stuff with the characters, we can either do that in the intervening time or when we next play. But yeah, because I think we'll if we have a good hours left free at the end to do all our entanglements in, that will be good. So character creation. So you'll obviously have your character sheet. We'll come on to that in a moment. There are three tabs called CC1, CC2, and CC3. 1 and 2 are the most important ones for this first little bit. There's also some additional playbook moves, but I'll mention those briefly. And if you want to go and look at those, you can, but don't feel that you need to. They are very much an additional thing that you can do if you wish. So the way making characters works, you obviously get to choose what you look like, how you dress, that sort of thing. There's some lists in the CC1 Basics tab. There is in box number 1, there is some appearance elements there that you can choose from. You don't have to choose from that list, but they're obviously designed to be kind of thematically appropriate. So if you want any inspiration, that is there for you. The next thing you'll do as well is pick a style. There's only one mechanical consideration with this, and that is that you will have one element, and these are the 5 classical Chinese elements of earth, fire, metal, water, and wood. They are also, not coincidentally, the stats for this game. We'll get into that in 1 second. But in terms of picking your style, basically all you need to do is choose which element you fight with, and that will be the stat that you roll whenever you are getting into combat, basically. And your choice of element may say something about the style, or it may inspire your name for the style. You come up with a cool name for it. There's a list in CC3 tab, entanglements and names. There's a list of style moves in there as well if you want to pick something. There's probably online generators for coming up with stuff as well, or obviously if you come up with something of your own, that's also great. So yeah, you'll pick a name, you'll pick a style element. You can also pick a specific weapon that you use with your style. Weapons never have any mechanical weight. You can fight unarmed as well as you can fight with weapons, etc., etc. But again, it's more a style thing. It's more about the aesthetics than anything else. So that's the next bit you'll do. You'll set up that style. you have your elements. So the way this game works, for those of you who haven't played it before, is whenever you make a roll, in a lot of Powered by the Apocalypse games, each move will be associated with a stat. So to take Monster Hearts for an example, when you roll to turn someone on, you roll with hot. When you roll to shut someone down, you roll with cool, etc., etc. Hearts of Wulin is different to that. In Hearts of Wulin, whenever you take an action, you will choose which of your stats that you roll with, depending on how you are doing the action that you're taking. There's a couple of exceptions to that, which I'll mention in a second. But generally speaking, you will get to choose whichever of your stats you wish to roll with, if you can explain how that is. And when you look at your character sheet in a second, you'll see that each character sheet has each stat has a few descriptors next to it. So, for instance, metal is all about being controlled, about being calculating, about reflecting. Fire is about creativity, speed, and passion. Water is about awareness, wisdom, and flexibility. So you could potentially roll with any of those stats, if you can kind of explain how your action fits the descriptors there. Or you might say, well, I'm trying to swim across the lake, so obviously I'm going to roll with water because, I'm in the water. Would also be a valid thing. It's basically just, you get to justify why you're using the stat you're using. There's no I don't get to say, oh, I don't think that's the right stat, I think you should use something else. You get to explain why you're using the stat you're using. So in box 3 in the CC1 tab, you'll see there are 3 stat arrays. You can choose one of those stat arrays and assign the modifiers from that between your elements in any way you choose. Essentially one of them is highly specialized. You get 2 at +2, 2 at 0, 1 at -1. One of them is quite generalist. That's array 3. You get 3 at 1, 2 at 0. And then you have array 1, which is kind of halfway house. You get 1 at 2, 2 at 1, 1 at 0, 1 at -1. But like I said, you get to choose which order you apply those stats in amongst your 5 elements. Fourth step, and to be honest, in reality, the most important of these sort of decisions is which playbook you are going to choose. Now, the way this works, there are 6 playbooks. There is the Aware, the Bravo, the Loyal, the Outsider, the Student, and the Unorthodox. Very briefly, I'll quickly go over what the broad direction of each of these is. So the Aware is kind of a mentor figure. They are someone who has a lot of knowledge and can kind of and knowledge and experience. They're kind of one of the classic ones for them is like the old master role. That's an Aware. Their agenda is to show how wisdom provides solutions. Next is the Bravo. They are the kind of rambunctious, living life to the full character. Their agenda is to enjoy every moment. The Loyal is very much about being the dependable one, someone who is sworn to a higher purpose, and their agenda is to express the tension between duty and self. The Outsider is someone who is obviously kind of a bit set outside of the normal social conventions, and I keep using the words that are then in the agenda, and their agenda is to act against convention. The Student is young and inexperienced, and their agenda is to revel in naivete. And finally, the Unorthodox is weird, frankly. They are if the outsider is kind of a person who's a bit outside the social norms of society, the unorthodox is just outside does something very differently to other people just in general, and their agenda is to conceal their truth. A lot of their stuff is based around hiding who they are and doing odd things. So in a moment, I'll let you all have a moment to discuss and choose which playbook you want to take. In general, as ever with PBTA games, I would encourage everyone to choose a different one. But if two people do want to play the same playbook, we can probably do that. The second big choice that you will have once you've chosen a playbook, and these are all in CC2 playbooks. We'll get into that in a second. Each playbook has a core move. This is kind of the will be the focus of your character. You can only ever choose one of these like core moves. You can never choose a second one, and it will kind of quite strongly influence what your character does, how they work. They also I will say here, if we do get two people who really want to play the same playbook, I'll probably ask you to choose a different core move each, so that we're not getting too much duplication over the same thing. So, for example, I'll just quickly flick over onto the playbooks thing. We'll see that the aware is the first of the playbooks there, and the first thing we see on there is they have three core moves. They have tutor, sorcerer, and traveling sifu. So you can choose one of those. For those who have played this before, you may notice that these choices are a little different to the normally presented ones. What I have done, so essentially both for the courtly and for the supernatural playbook, for play sets, I should say, there are new core moves for each of the playbooks. So what I've done is I've put in the two playbooks from the two moves from the supernatural and the courtly play sets, and one of the existing ones that I've chosen that I think still fits the general theme. You can choose whichever of those you wish. Obviously, the ones on the top line are all the ones from the courtly playbook. The ones on the second line are all the ones from the supernatural playbook. The third line is some of the original ones from the base playset, essentially. Obviously, if you choose one of the courtly core moves, that will focus you a little bit more on the courtly side of the game. If you focus on one of the supernatural ones, that will focus you a little bit more on the supernatural side of the game. If you choose from the third list, you'll not be particularly pointed at either of those. It won't it won't lock you out of doing any of those things. You do not need to take, like, say, the supernatural role to do supernatural things, but obviously, like, to take as an example, the tutor role for the aware makes you better at social duels as one of its things, which are obviously a part of the courtly play. The sorcerer role means that you are more effective at dealing with supernatural forces. They don't restrict you from not doing those things, as I said, but they obviously point you strongly towards interacting with that aspect of the game. So that's a consideration to have if there's a particular part that calls out to you more. So I'm going to go around and ask if anyone has, if people have preferences for a particular playbook. I'm going to start back again with Puckett, because I know Puckett and Bran have all played before, so I'll kind of see what you're interested in first, because if you're interested in playing something you haven't played before, basically. So yeah, Puckett, any initial thoughts from you on which of those you'd like to pick?
I can go with either the aware, outsider, or unorthodox. So go ahead and move on. And,
Yep.
and if anybody has like really wants something, I will figure something else out. It's not even a thing.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Maria, any particular preference from you?
I don't have a preference. I've played the loyal and the student before, so probably the ones that aren't those. But within like that subset, I can do whatever.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you. Brian, any preference from you, or again anything that you would rather avoid because you've either you're not interested or you've played it before?
No, I made a trickster outsider, but then didn't really get to play the character because our second session got canceled. So
sure thing.
Yeah, I'm kind of okay with anything.
Awesome. Yeah. Lara, any of those particularly sound interesting to you at the moment?
I mean, I'm very I would be happy to play any of these. I like the unorthodox, and the Bravo seems like fun, but again, happy with any.
Awesome. And last but not least, Chris, any preference from you?
Well, somebody has to start making decisions, I think. Let's see. I'm looking at the loyal and the unorthodox people that or the student, but I think if I were to do the unorthodox, I would do inhuman guys because demons are already a part of this thing. But if I did the loyal, I would be somebody's advisor. I think that's what I'll pick. Loyal advisor.
Yeah, cool. So yeah, if at the top of the character sheet, there should be the drop down for the role there if you want to pick loyal, and that should then, all being well, that should set up your choices further down the character sheet. I'll get onto the actual character building part of it in a second. Now we've got those choices. So yeah, I'll come back to you, Lara. Would you like? Well, I mean, yeah. Feel free. I think we have a. I'm just trying to refresh my memory. I believe Brian was mostly happy with any. Maria was looking to avoid the loyal, and was it the Bravo?
The student.
The student, sorry, the loyal and the student. But obviously loyal's already been picked, so the only one that Maria's probably trying to avoid is the student. And Puckett, what were the three that you said again? Sorry, I forget. It was
aware, unorthodox, and what was the other unknown? Hang on, I think it was over at the far right. Outsider.
Outsider, yeah, cool. Yeah, so yeah, I guess, or if anyone else has a particular preference that they want to call out at the minute as well, that's also cool. Otherwise, Lara, if you'd like to choose one.
Yeah, if it's okay with everyone, I'll snag the Bravo.
Awesome. I love the Bravo. It's always good fun.
I will say playing the Gallivant is amazingly good fun.
Yeah.
That's what I was looking at, actually.
Nice.
Brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, Brian, how about yourself?
So Bravo and Loyal have been chosen?
Yeah, Bravo and Loyal have been chosen. I think I don't think there's a combination left now that means that anyone will be stuck playing something they don't want to play. So, yeah. Or if you want to pass on and let someone else choose, that's also cool. You know, I don't want to force anyone to into decisions, but yeah.
I think I will kind of recreate my trickster and actually get to play that character.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, Maria, how about you?
Puckett, would it be cool if I took the unorthodox? Or do you have strong feelings about that one?
Nope. Go for it.
Okay, I will play the unorthodox. Unless, yeah, that hasn't been taken yet.
Cool. So I presume, Puckett, you'll be going for the aware? Is that right?
Yes, and I'm just trying to figure out which one.
Yeah. So yeah, now everyone's chosen playbooks. I'll go over the sort of the next steps. As I say, you've obviously got your stats to fill out. If you need any questions on that, do ask. But I said that you always get to choose which stats you use anyway. So pick the stats that interest you for your character to be good or bad, depending on how you look at things. The next, so in terms of the actual, now that you have your playbooks, you will see on that playbook sheet, you obviously have your role move or your core move from that pick from those top three. If on the character sheet, and I'm sorry, there will from this point on be a lot of jumping backwards and forwards. If you that role move, if you select the one you're choosing from there, that will obviously tell you which one you will let you pick the one you're interested in. Cool. So that's then you get to pick two more moves. Now these by default are from your playbook. You will there will be a list of abilities a little bit further down on your playbook, and you get to pick two of those. If you wish, you can take a look at the supernatural playbook moves, which are right at the very end of the sheet. These let you do something. These are moves that are specifically about having some sort of supernatural ability. As I say, absolutely feel free to ignore these. You do not in any way have to pay attention to these, particularly if this is your first time to it. It's just more stuff to read through. If you are interested, you can choose one of those in place of one of your starting playbook moves. So you could pick one playbook move and one supernatural move. But as I say, don't feel that you need to look at those. They exist there if you want to go in that direction. They're not in any way necessary. And so yeah, we'll get that bit of mechanical stuff done. I'll give you some time to look through all that. We'll take a break on the hour, though. Obviously, if you want to keep looking at stuff in the intervening turn, that's cool. I personally will be going and getting some more water, but I'll happily answer questions. But then, yeah, once we get back, I'd like to get us on to doing the entanglements, which are the interlinks between your characters, between your characters and your NPCs, the NPCs in the world. So I'll give you all a few minutes just of looking through. But as I say, if you have any questions you want to ask, anything you want me to clarify, anything else, just chat it, and I'll do my best to answer.
So are those supernatural playbook moves open to us?
Yeah, that's right. So if you are looking at that tab, you'll see there are like three columns. The third one is less important in a minute. So the playbook moves on the left-hand side are work out of the box. They're just so the supernatural moves on the left hand side. They work exactly like regular playbook moves. They are also already coded into the drop down in the main character keeper. If you want to choose one of those. The ones in the middle column are require a bit more work. They are kind of generic powers that you can tailor to do what you want. So, for instance, with the first one, this control aspect, which lets you control and reshape a specific thing. Examples being water, flocks of birds, or swords. So it's basically the ability to manipulate something. It's your kind of avatar, airbending stuff.
Okay.
Those ones require a little bit more work because we essentially have to build a custom move for it. It gives a kind of a framework for building a custom move. On the far right side of that sheet, that side column, is essentially an example of the moves in the middle column. You could pick one of those if you wanted, but if you think you would like to go for one of those custom ones, I'm happy for you to do that. But that's probably we'll probably have a conversation about that, on Slack or whatever during the week, to detail it out, because it just requires a little bit more customization, a little bit more work.
Gotcha. Okay. So real quick, just to make sure, is everyone okay if I am a member of the Wu clan or part of that faction? Did anybody have designs on that or want to do that?
Oh, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, that was the other thing I did mean to say as well. Yeah, at this point as well, if you wish to choose a faction, or at least if you want to think about a faction that you would like to be a member of, again, that's cool. We can also have a bit of a chat about that, because I know I've already seen that we have Maria, I think, has chosen the servant thing. So if you want to be in a in a clan that someone else is in, and work with them, whatever, we can sort that stuff out once we get into entanglements. But yeah. And yeah, like I said, feel free to make your decision on faction based on what you are interested in seeing as well. Don't feel that we need to have a member of each faction, or that you can't be a member of a faction that someone else is a member of. It's entirely up to what you're interested in doing. So don't worry too much about that.
So I think I would like to craft a custom move with you, David.
Cool. Yeah, no, we can certainly do that. What sort of thing are you thinking of? Just thematically speaking.
Spiders.
Spiders, awesome.
Unless anybody has a phobia of spiders, I can change it to something else.
No, I like spiders.
Okay. Maria's grinning. Laura's grinning. Brian's nodding. Okay. Yeah, because it's, I was already like assigning stats and everything like that, and the character idea I have has basically been blinded through sorcery, and wears a long silk blindfold and battles with silks and needles using the cave wolf spider style.
Nice.
So as a sorcerer, I'd like to be able to summon spiders.
Yeah, that sounds
and
cool.
have them do my bidding.
That sounds perfect.
You said supernatural.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, no, that's I love that. That's a great idea.
You might even say that I'm kind of a spider man.
Oh.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I'm going to hop off camera for a moment. As I said, feel free to take a break. We'll officially come back at 5 past. But like I said, if you want to, fiddle around with carrots and stuff in the intervening time, that's cool. But yeah, I'll see you all in a moment. I'll start recording again. Yeah. So you'll choose your either a PC or an NPC to refill each of those slots. When you choose an NPC, that can either be an NPC that we've already established, whether in either that our initial setup there, or you can just say, I'm going to come up with a new NPC who is this person, their name is blah, fill them in. Obviously, once we've got more NPCs, and you can also like drag in NPCs other people have created into your entanglement, so on and so forth. We'll do the actual filling in of these bits as a collaborative thing going around between each other. But in the intervening time, if you would like to look at that CC3 tab, and you'll see here and there. Sorry, I just did a cut and paste job here. I didn't reformat it. So what you'll see here is there are essentially 3 sections that have some suggested entanglements. So the top section is for the sort of the base thing. So there's ones for the aware, ones for the outsider, etc., etc. The next sort of tranche down is ones that are specifically designed for the courtly playbooks or courtly roles. Then the one after that is ones that are specifically designed for the supernatural roles. You can choose from any of these from your playbook of any of the 3 different types. It doesn't matter which choice you've made for your role. But obviously, like I said, once again, the depend if you pick one of the ones that's more supernatural entanglement, it will have more supernatural elements to it. There are also just a list of ones that aren't associated with this particular playbook. You can also choose from those if you wish. But generally, personally, I find just having that extra focus of the playbook thing reduces the number of decisions you have to make from. You can also, if you want, create an entanglement of your own if something's, comes to you. The only requirement is that all entanglements always have to have at least 2 other people and yourself involved in them, and the relationship has to have some sort of tension to it. You can't say me and Bob and Jim are really good mates and we like having a nice time, because there's no drama to that. The point of these entanglements is that they're for people to lean into. They'll cause complications for your characters, and they're one of the key ways of earning XP as well, basically by highlighting your entanglements. The other big thing that they do is whenever you have to act against your entanglement or you're confronted with your entanglement, that will you'll have to make an inner conflict roll, which we'll get onto once we get into the game proper next time. But like I said, the main thing that is that they're for this sort of setting up links between the characters and the world. So yeah, if you would like to go ahead and like I said, have a look through those and start choosing like I said, one romantic and one general entanglement you would like to start off play with. These again will also be able to change them during play. They're not set in stone. But if you'd like to make your choices now, and then we'll go around and we'll start filling those details in. The other thing as well that you'll see just underneath the entanglements, there's also an agenda. This is basically something that your character is trying to achieve. This is again a specific feature of the courtly play set, but it's basically a goal that your character has, and it functions a bit like an entanglement, but rather than being focused on other characters, it's focused on a specific goal, and can also have other things. We'll touch on that later because that's less interactive. So that's something that at the end of the day you can kind of decide between now and next time, if you want to do that. But yeah, so if you'd like to choose your 2 entanglements, and we'll then, once everyone's picked those out, we'll go through and we'll start deciding who's linked to who and how it works. Also, yes, at this point, as I just mentioned, having names at this point will be very useful for filling these out. I'll give you all a couple of moments, and then I'll just check in and see how you're doing on the character keeper. This bit is just a cut and paste job, I'm afraid. Again, I haven't sort of fiddled about to make this this drop downs and the like.
So 2 questions for you.
Yep.
Should we also consider factional entanglements? Like, should we consider the factions when we're choosing who we're entangled with as well?
Yes, certainly. That's something that's the factions will definitely have a play in in your entanglements. For instance, just as an easy example, like often quite a few of the entanglements will say like, oh, my, I love X, but my master Y does not approve of them. There's a good chance that, in that case, that Y will be the head of your faction, and bits and pieces like that. Or you might think, well, I want this. The NPC I want to have this is an NPC from the rival faction that I have beef with, or that I am in love with, or whatever else.
Okay, second question. I noticed down at the bottom that there are the supernatural and the courtly questions for entanglements.
Yep.
If we have chosen, like in my case, I've chosen sorcerer aware.
Yep.
Are the courtly options also open to us, or is it just
absolutely? Yeah. No, you can you can choose. Yeah, you can choose from or from the generic ones as well. Yeah, you can choose whichever you like.
Okay.
I was going to merge them, like, so they were just in like one list for each playbook, but I just didn't get around to it in the end. So
got it. Thank you.
No worries. No worries. So I'll give you all a couple more minutes just to have a look through those and make your choices. If you haven't chosen one of your entanglements yet, or if there's a couple that you're thinking about, we can always have a chat about that when we get around to it in a moment. If you're torn between a couple and you're wondering if someone would be interested in one more than the other, we can do that. That's cool. Oh, good. We've got a nice spread of different factions actually already between you. Yeah, I will mention actually there are some example agendas, which I said you don't need to worry about too much at the moment. But there are some example agendas in the courtly moves and notes tab, just partway down in the first column. The agendas are a lot less involved than the entanglements. It's much more a specific goal. But like in your entanglements, if you are ever forced to act against your personal agenda, that's also an inner conflict role.
Okay, so if I'm following right, there's a basic agendas in sorry, it's my dog.
No worries.
So there was a basic agendas in the playbook, but you're saying there's courtly agendas.
Yeah, so the courtly agenda is, yes, unfortunately, it's using the same name. The courtly agenda, that is like a goal that your character has. That is something that they're trying to achieve. Okay. Whereas the player agendas, which are further down the sheet, that is about you as a player and what they're what you as a player are sort of should be looking to do.
Like in the playbooks, I'm just making sure I'm following. In the playbooks, I see, that's the player agenda. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, no worries. It's an unfortunate reuse of terminology, which sometimes unavoidable. But yeah, but as I say, that's less important for right now. Anyway, your agendas, we can look at those next time. So I think we are mostly there. People have chosen their entanglements, I think. So I'll start back with in fact, sorry. First, what I will do is I will ask everyone to introduce their characters in whatever form you have them so far, and then we'll start on our entanglements. So yeah, Puckett, if you would like to introduce your character.
Alrighty. I am playing Zhang Long from the Wu clan. He is an aware who is also a sorcerer and was blinded due to eldritch experimentation by none other than Golden Soul Scholar Shang, and intends to depose him and restore earthly control to the kingdom, because humans should not be trifling with such forces.
Nice. Thank you. Yeah, and Brian, if you'd like to introduce your character.
My character is Mirror of the Cloud of the 11 Devil Perfection Society, an outsider trickster. So I'm trying to, am I missing anything else I'm supposed to say about them at this point?
Yeah, no worries.
That's about it.
Yeah, and Maria.
Right, so I made Liu Yaling. Her pronouns, she's a member of the Liu clan. I'm sort of like, she's a servant, she's an unorthodox, and servant is like the sub playbook, I guess. So it's just sort of imagining that she was adopted by the Liu clan at birth and has sort of like become a servant to the consort Silver Starlight. And yeah, that is what I have so far.
Yeah, no, brilliant. Thank you very much. Yeah, Lara.
Yeah, so I'm going to be playing Lei Ning. She is a part of the Shang clan. Just a super fiery personality. Her style is sunburnt mirth, and I just really liked that name. So, as far as my history, I'm still working it out.
Yeah, no worries. We'll probably learn a lot more about that once we get into the under the entanglements. Thank you very much. And yeah, Chris, how about you? Oops, sorry, I think you're muted. Sorry, I was tabbed out. I was.
Oh, okay. Yes, my name is Yang Min. I'm of the Wu clan, just as Zhang Long is. I am an advisor. That is to say, I'm loyal, and I'm an advisor who navigates the palace well. And I haven't worked out my agenda yet, but I ultimately I'm trying to aid the Wu clan in getting rid of demonic influence.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Cool. So yeah, now we'll go back around and so if we can see one of what we'll do is I'll give you each a chance to choose one of your entanglements, whether that be your romantic or your general one. We'll fill that in, move on to the next person. They get to choose one of theirs, blah blah blah. Then we'll go back around again, so that everyone gets a chance to do that. In fact, actually, we'll probably go. We'll do it, snake style. So we'll start with Puck and Zhanglong, move to Chris, and then Chris will do his second one. We'll go back the other way so that we kind of spread out who gets to do what one. So yeah, Zhanglong, would you like to choose one of your entanglements to populate?
All of my entanglements involve love for someone else. So let me toss this out. Brian, how would you feel if my romantic entanglement was being in love with Mirror of the Cloud? Because our factions are opposed.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And then that, and I'm okay with this idea, Chris, if your role as tutor means that you are superior to me in the clan, meaning that you're a senior, because that would allow me to say, I'm in love with Mirror of the Cloud, but my senior, your character, and the rest of my clan believe they serve a dark force. So
That's good.
yeah, because it's 2 entanglements, 2 NPCs, gets it twisted up with factional stuff as well.
Yeah, that I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
So
Great.
if that's okay with both of you, I'll go with that.
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay. And then your character's name is Yang Min, right?
Yeah.
Correct?
Hmm.
Awesome. So got that one done. And David, now you know why I was asking about factional entanglements, because I was looking at that and thinking, God, our factions are totally opposed. It's too good.
I'm just going to scribble briefly.
So does one of the blanks in each one have to be a PC, or
No,
just one of them has to be a PC?
one. So essentially, of the 4 blanks on one of those has
Yeah.
to be a PC. In all likelihood, what tends to be the case is that it tends to be that most of them will be with other PCs, because it's generally more interesting to keep it fairly interlinked. But we will get some NPCs in some of them as well, I'm sure. Cool. So sorry, I was just doing a quick map. So Zhang Long. Awesome. Thank you. Brian, Mirror of the Cloud. Would you like to populate one of your entanglements?
Well, I took part in a crime against Blank, my friend Blank's sibling. So that means, I'm not friends with either of the members of the Wu clan. So of the other 2, who do we consider ourselves to be friends? Whose sibling I took part in a crime against?
Happy to take that.
Okay. And I guess we need to name your sibling then.
Yeah, and also, I suppose, what crime do you think you did commit, Mirror of the Cloud?
Let's see. Shang Clan, you uncover secrets. I think maybe we, took part in a crime. Maybe we framed your brother for something that we actually did. Let's see, something we stole, something we, there was some secret your brother had that we, let out, it was assumed that he did because no one should know. Something like that. It's all pretty vague.
Yeah, no, that's cool. That's That's awesome. We can come back with a name for them if you'd like. I'll if Lara, if you'd like to give them a name because they're your
Oh, I put it
sibling.
in
Oh,
chat.
perfect.
Okay.
Cool. Sorry. Yeah. Perfect. Lovely. Thank you very much. Sorry, I missed that. Excellent. And then we are on to Liu Yaling, Maria.
Yeah. So I think I'll do my second entanglement first. Blank has given me private secret training, but other blank will be enraged if they learn of it.
Nice.
So yeah, I imagine that like in my trying to rise above my position, I'm trying to get like training from other clans or factions. None of these other clans are exactly in favor except for the Shan clan. Would it be, let's see though, my fighting style is water. Would I be trying to get more water or like a different fighting style? Maybe a different one. Lei Ning or Zhang Long, would either of you be up for giving me private secret training?
See, Laura is nodding.
All right. I will put that Lei Ning has given me private secret training and someone is going to be enraged if they learn of it.
Do you think it will be? Do you think it will be someone? Do you think it will be someone in their clan or someone in your clan that would be angered by this? I mean, possibly both, but you know.
Maybe someone in their clan. Like, these are your secrets that you are giving to me. They don't want secrets to be spilled.
We do have the brother Tian Ning in play already, so
Okay.
it could be them, or if you want to come up with someone else, that's also cool. It could be their faction leader, obviously. It could be Gentleman Bao Yin.
Ooh, let's make it the faction leader.
Cool.
Are we all in the court in some degree? I mean, the
Yeah, I think
unorthodox. Oh, the orthodox is a servant. That's fine.
Yeah, no, yes, I think certainly to some extent or other, and I think in like I said, in this sense, the court is probably a bit more of an amorphous entity than a kind of traditional, like, you know, imperial court or something. I think this is much more about like the interplay between the different clans rather than necessarily a formal court, I think, in this instance. But yeah, although it's probably a bit of the latter too. Brilliant, thank you very much. Lei Ning, Lara, would you like to choose one of your entanglements to populate?
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do my second one first. Chris, your character is an advisor, correct?
Yeah.
Could I extend that to be like some kind of local authority figure? Question mark. Could that work?
Maybe like a magistrate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So I think that Yang Min hints that they know of my shady dealings against my mentor. And can my mentor also be a PC?
Yes, it certainly can be. Yeah, if you want, or it could obviously be someone within your clan, but yeah, an NPC within your clan. But yeah, it can be another PC if you would like.
I don't know if I want it to Yeah, actually, I think I'm gonna make it a PC. If it's okay with Puckett, will you be my mentor?
Sure. But mentor for what?
Let's see. You you're big on. I mean, I think that my character is interested in like the kind of otherworldly aspects, and if I remember correctly, you kind of play with that, right?
To the extent that I'm trying to rid the kingdom of the control of otherworldly aspects, sure. So if you're saying I want to learn how to control demons, my character is going to be like, no. If you're saying I want to learn how to purge the kingdom of demons, my character will probably grudgingly say, fine. It's better for you to know how to do it properly than to go try to learn these things yourself and experience what I have.
I mean, you do practice sorcery. You know, maybe it's to rid the world of demons, but it's still sorcery.
It is. And that's why I'm saying it's like, you know, you want to learn how to summon demons? No. You want to learn how to get rid of demons? Yes. So.
Well, I think I'll phrase it that way. I don't know if that's truly my intention or not.
As we say, as the entanglement says, you do seem to be involved in some shady dealings against your mentor. So perhaps that,
okay.
that knowledge is not being used in an approved fashion. But that's cool. Thank you. So Yang Min, Chris, if you'd like to pick. Well, like I said, we'll do this snake style. So we'll do both of your sets of entanglements in one fell swoop. But if you'd like to pick one of them to go first. Oops, sorry, I think you're muted again.
Chris is okay. So Yang's actually my last name. Just I flipped him. I don't know if that's going to be confusing, but I promised Zhang Long that I would aid them in wooing Mirror of the Cloud, right? Because I think that fits. But in doing so, I have fallen in love with Zhang Long. Puckett, which one's your first name?
Zhang.
Zhang, okay, so
yeah.
I've fallen in love with Zhang. Okay. I can flip mine around too. And then I'm gonna say Laura, would this fit if I said that I promised you that I would not reveal your failings, your shady dealings? Is that I don't want to counteract what I want to build into what you were saying. Yeah, but I fear their efforts will harm. This could be a group or should it be a person?
It's a person is better, but no, a group is fine. If you
I was either going to be Zhang or actually Zhang fits because I'm in love with him.
Yeah.
So you're in love with me, and you're not going to reveal my students' shady behavior. Because that sounds like an absolutely perfect entanglement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I have some debt to Lei Ning. There's I don't know what it is, but a promise is a promise.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
This is getting more disaster Twinkie anyway. By the second, David.
Excellent. I've lost my place in my diagram, but I'm sure I can pick that up. Thank you. So back to Lei Ning, if you'd like to do your second entanglement.
It's okay. I think that I will be. I fled from Liu Yaling. I don't know if I said that right, but if that's okay. And then, did you have an idea, Maria, for who your lover might be?
Oh, I don't know yet. Because in mine, my heart belongs to someone. Does my heart belong to someone who is not my lover?
I mean, it seems likely, doesn't it?
It seems like that would make this even more complicated, which is the goal, right?
Yep.
I will come up with a lover's name.
Sure
who I'm
thing.
thinking is like maybe like another servant or someone in the Liu clan.
Sure thing.
Is there a faction we haven't represented anywhere?
Or it could be another faction. The Wang clan?
Yeah, sure.
Like we are both servants at court and have bonded over our lack of position or something. Names. Shui. That's going to be what it is.
That's okay.
Type in the chat.
Awesome. Yeah, sorry, I was just distracted there. Brilliant, thank you. And so with that, is you yelling to do your next entanglement?
Yeah. So I'm thinking for my romantic, I owe Consort Silver Starlight, aka my like faction leader, everything for like taking me into the clan. But despite that, and the fact that I can have multiple lovers because I can do whatever I want. But despite that, my heart belongs to. Does anyone want to have a servant in love with them, with or without their like, could be unrequited. Maybe it should be unrequited because that's lots of fun.
I'm definitely game.
Okay, my heart belongs to Minyan or Yang Min.
Min Yang, yeah, first name first.
Okay. I can change mine around so my first name's first too.
Awesome. Thank you. And so Mirror of the Cloud, your second entanglement.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I rejected Blank, but Blank, who I desire, loves them. Hmm. Um,
Oh, I mean, if you're interested in squaring off the circle or triangle, I suppose, I think if I've got this the right way round, you could have that you rejected Zhang Long,
mhm.
but you desire Min Yang, who is in love with them, because I think that triangle fits if I've got all the pieces
Yeah.
round the right way. It's kind of doubling down on what's already there, but I think it works.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it adds that. I guess it adds that I desire Minye,
Yes.
which was not there
Yes.
otherwise.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
It's the imperfect love triangle where no compatible pairing is actually interested in each other, but it's awesome. Cool. And last but not least, Zhang Long, your final thing, final one. There are plenty of people in love with other people. They're for you to pick for that one.
I'm just thinking, are we accidentally playing Pasión de las Pasiones?
I mean, broadly, yeah.
All right, so I have two thoughts, and I'm going to have to scroll back through just to make sure that they fit. But one of them was, I can sense a dark destiny if my friend, for example, Liu Yaling, maintains their love for Yang Min. And then I can sense a dark destiny if my friend Lei Ning maintains their love for Liu Yaling. So that'd be my student maintaining their love for, well, Liu Yaling. God, it's like a tongue twister. Or we could go with Liu Yaling facing a dark destiny if they maintain love for Yang Min. So, Maria, Laura, what do you think?
Either way works for me.
I'm flexible. Whatever seems more interesting.
Okay.
I
David,
guess.
what do you?
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead, Maria, please.
I had a thought where if I was in love with Yang Min, that's like the Wu clan is not in favor. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they're out of favor. Yeah, I don't know where I was going, but I think I was like trying to think of like whether if this dark destiny involves things being in or out of favor with the court. If that would play a role in which one is more interesting.
Ooh, because you're in neutral, you're in the Liu clan, and the Liu clan is questionable, whereas we're upright. And then, so, God, this is okay. And Lei Ning is in the Shang clan, which is also questionable. So either way, it would make sense if I saw a dark destiny ahead for you because, perhaps you can fall out of your favor with your clan, perhaps. And we're already seen as out of favor because we're trying to do what we think of as the right thing. So instead of it could almost be more of a protective thing where I see, the dark destiny I see is that you're falling out of favor and you will experience the same kind of consequences that we have. So anyway, thoughts?
Yeah, either way works for me. I guess from a kind of having links with different characters. Obviously, if you went with Lei Ning and Liu Yaling, you'd have that would be two characters that you don't already have entanglements with,
right?
Yeah,
rather than doubling down on Yang Min, but also doubling down with entanglements is also not a bad thing necessarily. So, but yeah, I think maybe Lei Ning and
Liu Yaling.
Yeah,
that works. And that's actually kind of what I was leaning toward as well. Because it makes the web even messier and more complicated for you to map out. You see what I did there? Web? Cave wolf spider style web? Okay, just making sure.
Brilliant. Right, well, that is all our entanglements done. As I say, if you want to add in agendas in the intervening time, feel free to go ahead with that. That can be kind of, like I said, any goal really you want to have your character try and achieve. There are some, like I said, some suggestions in that quarterly moves tab. But yeah, I think with that we will leave things there for this evening. Obviously, like I said, if you want to add in any more details and stuff in the intervening time, feel free to go ahead. If you have any questions from me, do feel free to ask. Puckett, I'll get back to you on your on setting up your custom move. But yeah, I think with that we will leave things there for this evening. So thank you.
I feel like I messed everybody up with their agenda, with their entanglements by changing my name. So I'm going to be Min Yang instead of, I'm not Yang Min.
Okay. No worries.
I'll change
cool.
it.
All right, thanks.
No, not a problem. It can get confusing at times with names, but no worries. That's perfect. So thank you very much, everyone. As I say, if you do have any questions in the intervening time, do let me know. But I will speak to you all soon. And thank you for this. It's been good fun. I know, obviously, we've been very much in the weeds of getting stuff set up today, but it's always a fairly involved setup for this game. So I think that's fine. So thank you very much, and see you all next time.
Thanks. It's a lot of fun.
Thanks. See ya.